Hi, I'm Emma, but people usually call me Genius. My dad was a manager in a small company, and my mom worked as a cook. They lived modestly, but they were content. I turned their life upside down. She looks like she understands what we're saying. Our eyes are dark brown, but hers are green. I figured out how to sit by the time I was 5 months old. 3 months after that, I started walking, and a month before my first birthday, I said my first words.
I want to be like Einstein.
God, our baby's so brilliant. She's so smart. Unlike Jena. Right. That's my older sister, Jena. Oh, her screaming's giving me a migraine. When I was 4, I won my first gold medal. A couple of years after that, I had so many of them, I had nowhere to put them anymore. I need to become smarter. Turn the cartoons back on! Emma's favorite show is about to start. While Jena was obsessed with cartoons, I liked watching the science channels. The subscription to this channel costs a fortune. It's for Emma. What's wrong with her? She's not a normal kid. At least she doesn't just play and whine all the time like Jena. As you can see, Mom loved me more and Jena was Dad's favorite. Jena's falling behind in her studies. They're calling us to school. It's okay. At her age, I didn't like studying either. Here, you can install any games you want. Wow! You should have given the tablet to Emma. She needs it more. She likes books better anyway. Even though Dad showered Jena with gifts and thought I was a weirdo, she still envied me. One day, I was getting ready to give a talk on math. My stomach was in knots. When I came up to the podium, oh no! Jena burned my report! She was smirking at me from the audience. I wasn't gonna give her the chance to gloat. I had prepared so well that I knew my report by heart. Thus, for mutually exclusive events, the probability of their occurrence is simply the sum of their individual probabilities. When I was awarded a medal, Jena turned green with envy. She looked like the Wicked Witch of the West. One day, our parents had guests over. Mom turned on loud music so everyone could dance. Honey, show us that fog experiment of yours. I took the reagents and I started mixing them, but instead of fog, there was a loud explosion. All the guests screamed and rushed outside. I saw Jena cover her mouth with her hand and giggle nastily. She must have switched the reagents. Did you see that? That was Emma's fault. I could have done it better. Even geniuses make mistakes sometimes. Jena threw a test tube at a wall and ran back to her room when she heard that. As we grew up, things went from bad to worse. I was so ahead of my peers, I ended up being moved up a year. Meanwhile, Jena's academic performance was so abysmal she had to repeat a year. We became classmates, and that was the worst thing that could have possibly happened. Mom threw a party in my honor. Emma, you're the best daughter in the world. What's the big deal? Oh, Jena, what am I supposed to do with you? I don't expect anything from you anymore. Even Dad kept silent on that. Jena went berserk as usual and stormed out, slamming the door on her way out. When I saw her the next day, she had green dreadlocks. Did you go swimming in some seaweed? This is my new look. You couldn't get it, nerd. At school, Jena turned on heavy rock on a speaker. What are you doing? Shaking up the school. Heck yeah! The principal was furious. Stop right now! Soon, Jena fell in with troublemakers just like herself. They kept trying to turn my life into a living hell. One day, I was asked to make a presentation about our school. I diligently prepared it and came up with a speech. But when I started the presentation, a photo of our principal appeared up on screen. This is fire, sis! Oh, that witch! The principal turned red as a tomato and immediately jumped out of his chair. What is the meaning of this? I used these photos to demonstrate your unparalleled sense of humor. It's good for the school. And now, let me tell you more about it. I managed to improvise and calm the principal down. After my presentation, a boy called Sam came up to me. Jena wrote his name in all her notebooks. One day, I even heard her confessing to him in her sleep. My sister was crazy about him. Can you imagine how mad she was when he approached me? You came up with that on the spot, didn't you? Yeah, I had to. Hey, well, you were very cool. How'd you know I had to improvise? I pay attention. Don't stand in my way. Has she always been like this? No. Actually, that was her being polite. One day, there was a free tasting session in the restaurant where my mom worked. All the employees and their families were invited to it. The owner of the restaurant, Mr. Davis, presented Mom with a diploma. No one cuts vegetables as thinly, makes cutlets as deftly, or bakes brioches as masterfully as you. You are our best employee. Look at her, proud as a peacock. Dad clearly didn't want to be there. Could it be? Was Dad jealous of Mom? When the tasting began, I realized I was right. Let me treat you to this magnificent cocktail. I'll treat my wife myself. Emma, Jena, we're going home. What's wrong with you? You embarrassed me in front of my colleagues. Don't flirt with that moron, Davis. I wasn't flirting.
Dad, I think you're exaggerating.
I wasn't asking you. Are you even my daughter? Maybe you got your eyes from that Davis.
How could you say that?
That's crossing a line. What, are you gonna ask for a DNA test next? Maybe I will.
I thought he wasn't serious, but he really did ask for a paternity test. It was complete madness.
My math contest was the next day, but as I sat at my desk and tried to focus on my textbooks, I kept thinking about my parents' fight. Ready for the DNA test tomorrow? Sis, get lost, you witch. You should sprinkle salt on the doorstep. Maybe that'll keep me out. Because of Jena and my worries, I didn't get enough sleep that night. Early the next morning, Dad dragged me to a clinic. I'm gonna be late for the contest. This test is more important.
Do you really think I'm not your daughter?
Dad's silence spoke louder than words. He had never treated me well, but that was going too far. I barely made it in time for the contest after the clinic.
Phew, I'm not late.
Sam was taking part in the contest too. Like me, he was an excellent student, so it wasn't surprising. He waved at me when I arrived, and I took my seat next to him. I was so sleepy, the numbers blurred before my eyes. I couldn't concentrate, and I was having trouble with one of the equations. Try to find the square root here. It worked! I did all the other tasks perfectly, and I took the first place. Thank you for helping me, but now I feel like I didn't even earn the prize. Are you kidding? You're a genius. I admire you. After my victory, I was invited to a city contest. This time, I'll be more prepared. You have excellent student syndrome, you know? Probably. Let's celebrate your victory. We went to a cafe nearby. Sam and I had a lot in common. I'd never had so much fun discussing the number theory before. I knew you'd be here. Emma, let's go. We need to go to the clinic and get the test results. Yeah, let's see proof that you're not Dad's daughter. I wanted to sink through the floor. I knew Jena hated me, but why did Dad have to humiliate me like that? What would Sam think of our family? We need to hurry. The clinic will be closing soon. Avoiding Sam's eyes, I said goodbye to him and left. At the clinic, we were told we'd hurried there in vain. The results were not ready yet. Why was Dad even doing it all? When we got home, I couldn't stand it any longer and exploded like a pressure cooker. Why'd you start this whole thing with the DNA test? It's nonsense! Don't you dare talk to your father like that. My father? I thought I wasn't your daughter. Oh, so you want a contest again? I told you she's too smart. No wonder you think Mr. Davis is smarter than you. You're a complete moron. I couldn't listen to them any longer and I went to my room. As soon as I was alone, I burst into tears. I believed in Mom, but I was still afraid. What if Dad was right, and that damn test confirmed my fears? Could it really be that Dad felt like I wasn't his blood, and he didn't like me because of that? The next day, I came to school early. When Jena walked into the classroom, her dreadlocks were purple. What'd you bathe in this time? In your tears? I heard you crying into your pillow last night. Why do you hate me so much? We're sisters! Are we really? Maybe there's a reason you're the black sheep of our family, and you're all evil piranhas. Just leave Emma alone. Grr. I couldn't be more grateful to Sam for his support. That evening, the results of my DNA test arrived. I was so nervous, I couldn't stop clenching my fists. It's time to find out the truth. Go on, then. Emma, you're my daughter. I told you so! Are you happy now? At that moment, I felt relief and hope. Would Dad treat me better now? I'm sorry, I acted like an idiot. Could the results be wrong? Jena, quit it! Dad spent the next week trying to make amends. He bought Mom flowers, took her to the theater, and even took all of us on a picnic. This is for Jena. This is for her wonderful mom. What about Emma? Here. Unfortunately, Dad kept treating me as he always had. It broke my heart. The only thing that helped me get my mind off things was revising for the city contest. One day, I came home from school and saw suitcases by the door. These are Dad's clothes. Did Mom kick him out? No, I'm the one who decided to leave, dang it. Wait! What happened? Dad got into a taxi and drove away without a word. Did you two fight? Everything was fine. I don't know what came over him. I was worried Dad had left because of me. Maybe Jena was right and there was something wrong with the test. I couldn't stop thinking about it and decided to call the clinic. We can't disclose any information to minors. Of course, Jena was gutted. She changed her hair color again and
even stopped bothering me after that.
Your grades in all subjects leave a lot to be desired. If you don't pull yourself together, you'll be expelled.
Despite everything, I felt sorry for Jena. I knew she wouldn't accept my help, so I talked to Sam.
You want me to tutor her? She doesn't deserve it.
Sam refused for a long time, but eventually I talked him into it. When he offered his help to Jena, she was over the moon.
I knew you'd get bored of my nerdy sister.
Jena invited Sam for walks and flirted with him all the time. Soon, she went back to picking on me.
Well, Emma, do you get it now? No one likes know-it-alls.
Deep down, I regretted asking Sam to help her. Would it really be so bad if she was expelled? I kept preparing for the city contest and calling Dad. He didn't answer the phone, and it made me nervous. I tried to figure out what happened, but to no avail. One day, I was coming back from school when I saw Sam by an abandoned house. He was standing next to Jena and her friends.
Well, look who it is. Do you want to join us rebels? You'll never be like me.
Well, that's good news.
Sam, tell the nerd to leave. I've had enough. Emma's a good person, unlike you. She even asked me to tutor you. What?
At first, Jena fell into a stupor, and then she went ballistic.
Why do you always have to ruin my life?
I was just trying to help you. I didn't even realize what happened. Everything suddenly hurt, and then the world went dark. When I opened my eyes, I found myself in a hospital room. What happened?
Sweetie, you're awake! You've been unconscious for almost a day. Jena pushed you when you fell and broke your arm. You also have a concussion, so don't make any sudden movements, okay? I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen.
You're sorry? How does that help me? I'm supposed to be at a contest tomorrow.
The doctor said you need to stay in the hospital for at least a week, so you'll have to miss it.
Ugh, that was so unfair.
Jena, go away. You're nothing but trouble.
Mom left, but I asked Sam to stay with me a bit longer. Help me sneak out and get to the contest.
Are you nuts? You need to rest.
Please, I need your help.
Why can I never say no to you?
The next morning, Sam distracted the doctor on duty, and I slipped out of my ward.
Are you sure you should be here?
I'm fine. I was left-handed and broke my left arm, so I had to write with my right hand. All the tasks seemed surprisingly easy. It felt like I got smarter after the concussion. While Sam and I were waiting for the results, Mom arrived.
How could you let her sneak out?
I asked him to.
We have the results. The winner is Emma Brown.
They called me the smartest girl in town and gave me a huge cash prize. I was on cloud 9. But then I thought about Dad, and I wondered if he would have been proud of me.
You're amazing.
Sam pulled me into a hug, but almost immediately pulled away. That evening, Mom, Jena, and I were eating dinner when the door suddenly opened and... Dad? Jena tried to hug him, but for some reason he recoiled.
What's wrong? Where have you been? I've been watching you, and I heard your talk with Jones. Emma is my daughter, unlike Jena. What?
It can't be. Mom, tell him.
Well, that's why I left. I only came back for you, Emma. You are my daughter, my blood. Come with me. Why would you stay with this traitor and your sister who's hated you your whole life?
I was so shocked, I couldn't say anything. My head was spinning. Had Dad just called me his daughter? He wasn't related to Jena.
I've already found a good bank. We can open a high-yield savings account for all your winnings there.
At that moment, everything became clear to me. You've never loved me, or Jena. You gave up on her too easily, and all you want from me is money. I'm not going anywhere with you.
Suit yourself. Dad, wait!
Hey.
I'm such a fool! I've always been jealous of you because Mom loved you more. Everything came easy to you, but I had no talents. And now Dad just turned his back on me too, so no one needs me.
That's not true.
But it is! You're a genius, and I'm nothing. That's probably why Sam chose you, even though I tried so hard to get him to like me.
When Jena said that, all my anger vanished. She was just a little girl, mad at the whole world. You're not nothing, and Dad isn't worth our tears.
Emma?
You and Dad shouldn't have singled out either of us. If you'd paid more attention to Jena, she wouldn't be like this.
You're right, I see that now. So, he really
isn't my dad. Mom looked away and told us that her affair with Mr. Davis began a long time ago. She'd only recently told him Jena was his daughter, and Dad had overheard them.
I'm sorry, girls.
Our parents divorced soon after that. Mr. Davis started helping us and even proposed to Mom. Sam and I became an item. Jena and I aren't close, but we do get along better now. I still like exact sciences, and now Jena believes in herself. She's been making dreadlocks. We don't keep in touch with Dad anymore. He just isn't worth our tears, is he?